So let me get a little bit back to timing and how it correlates with playing legato. So the thing that I see the most with classical players that are just starting with gypsy jazz is they think they have to swing, and they start playing kind of in a, like, what do you call this, bouncy way. They're trying to create some kind of bounce, but they do it by playing short or not legato notes. So it's kind of too bouncy. So let me show you this example of playing too bouncy, and you will see that it kind of messes with the flow, and thus it messes with the timing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I know what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to create this swing, and you can still play with these kind of rhythms, like long, short note, but if you play it legato, you get this old Grappelli sound, and I sometimes like to do that. I like to play with this kind of, like, timing, with very bouncy timing, but then if you play legato, it sounds much more sophisticated. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this was an example of a very bouncy way of playing, which is great. Sounds a lot like the very young Grappelli, and I like to switch to that sound, especially when I start playing bluesy things. But you can also play almost straight eighth, and that can swing too, because in the end it's not about playing how bouncy you're playing, but it's how legato you're playing, and where you time the notes in relationship to, of course, the rhythm guitar. So let me give an example of playing the first part of Hungarian again, but with almost straight eighths. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now there's, of course, something in between. So like slightly swinging, not as bouncy as the first one, not as straight as this last example, but something in between. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I would say this is my general way of playing. And then what I like to do is switch between all of these styles. So maybe it's nice to do a full chorus of Hungarian, and then I'm going to start out like this. Then halfway I'm going to switch to this really bouncy way of playing, and I'll be playing some bluesy stuff, and I'll end the chorus with playing straight eights. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Now if you see the transcriptions of this, then you will notice that all the eighth notes are written like straight eighth notes, because that's the way you write this stuff down. Because if you be writing it down exactly, first of all, it's impossible, and it's also impossible to read. And I'm thinking, when I'm playing, I'm thinking about eighth notes. I'm just timing them a little bit differently. And I think this is the key to timing. The key to timing is not, according to me, right? So there's different opinions about this, but the key to timing is not practicing with a metronome on 2 and 4 and then try to play slightly behind. It could be a good exercise, but that's not the key to creating a good timing. The key to good timing is being aware of all of these possibilities and being very deliberate on when you're using what. And of course, one big thing is playing clear lines, but we're going to talk about that in a later chapter.